Okay, it's 5 o'clock, and we're going to start the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting. It's Wednesday, August 5th, 2020, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approval of the minutes. A, July 29, 2020 Select Board meeting, and July 30th, 2020 Select Board emergency meeting.
So wait, those two dates didn't agree with my agenda.
I could have gotten them wrong.
It just says July 1st and July 15th.
Your agenda does? Did I print the wrong agendas?
Mine says
Oh.
29, 30th.
Never mind, this is what I just signed. I'm sorry.
Okay, moving along.
I apologize.
Okay.
I had a different agenda in front of me. I'm sorry.
We okay?
Let me redo this.
No, we're good.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve A and B as read.
okay. Second? All in favor? Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 60, accounts payable 57, 58, 59.
Make a motion for A and B as read.
Second.
Any further discussion? None, we vote. Open session, and we have some guests, so this would be your opportunity to speak to us.
Well, thank you very much. My name again is Margarita Couturier. My husband John is joining me this evening. And I am currently serve as the Vice President with the Moosehead Lake Region Economic Development Corporation, and I'm a candidate running for the Maine House of Representatives. So I wanted to introduce myself, but I'm really here to listen to what you all are working on, what your projects are, what your activities are, what your priorities, what are the challenges currently, especially in this pandemic time, for the various towns that we're in. My husband John serves on the planning board for the town of Greenville, as well as the budget committee for the town of Greenville. So we're very familiar with many of the challenges that we see from our perspective. But I'm really reaching out to all of the towns and the select boards. So thank you very much. I don't want to interrupt, but I appreciate the opportunity to listen. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Thank you.
Old business, fire department's here, but the chief was supposed to join us, so I think we'll obviously skip that. Hopefully he's able to get here. We'll move to revenue sharing.
New numbers just came out on the 3rd. Sangerville looks to receive approximately 129,123.94 in total distribution, which is slightly above what we were planning on.
Next year may be a problem, but this year was not.
I think as long as this comes to fruition, we're
Kind of what we
good.
figured
That's
was it.
pretty much what we,
Yeah. So I just wanted to update since that just came out.
that's good. Proposal for a layout of town office C.
All right, I made other copies that Justin. Either of you like to copy?
What is that number on the bottom?
So-
60.
60, okay, yeah.
A lot.
60 feet?
Yeah. Dustin just took some numbers, threw them down on what he felt fit easily and well into the box. And then I sent him down to the ball field, and he called Eric Excavation to see if perhaps we could have a daylight basement plan. He called me back and said that it's definitely doable. He'd like some measurements. What are we thinking? Obviously, this one doesn't include a library.
Gateway basement, money.
Correct.
Here you go.
The other thing
Wouldn't be
is-
quite so, but you almost could say basement, library, no basement, no library.
You could almost, the one thing that isn't on this top drawing is a safe. So if you're doing a daylight basement, that would mean a safe, you'd only need two walls for a corner
Sure.
safe, if we're thinking in those terms.
But this 16 by 24 in comparison to what you got now is a lot more.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, that's
and-
huge compared to what.
Yeah, well, three service windows really wouldn't be necessary.
No.
No, we don't have enough people to
Right.
do that.
So, I mean, that can be clipped.
Mhm.
I think that meeting room is quite a bit bigger than this one.
It's about the same size.
It's a little
as
bigger,
this
not
one.
much.
Not much.
We don't really need 2 bathrooms though.
This one's 19 and a half, I think, by 28.
No, we
Um,
don't. No, we don't.
I said that, the one thing the ladies are going to miss is having a bathroom in the office, but that's just,
It's
Well, it doesn't mean we
interesting.
can't manipulate something, so there may still be something.
maybe you could,
I didn't even realize there was one in there until this year.
yeah.
So that's-
And they use that bathroom during the day?
Yeah.
They don't come out and use the other? Now, do we have 2
We-
here?
Two.
So there's been 3 bathrooms?
We have 3 bathrooms here.
Wow.
But you have in theory, you have a library.
Right.
I did call Parkman to see if they had any drawings. They built their own building. They don't have any drawings.
Well, they must have a sketch. a floor
No,
plan.
Just
they
kinda,
chucked it when they,
Oh.
I can tell you that Brenda thought their building was about 60 feet in length. For them, you go in the front door, which is in the middle of the building. To the right is a small room where they keep all the records. It's not a safe. To the left is a small room for the select board chair who functions much as our board does. When you walk in, and to the right is an open space with teller windows where they wait on people. The rest of the space they consider their meeting room and their library. And they have bookshelves along the wall, and in the back corner they have a bathroom and a set of stairs down to the basement. If you go around to the back of the building, you can enter without any stairs and roll into what they use for their voting.
Oh.
An even bigger meeting room if anybody
Oh.
needs to use it, more this size, and then they have some storage down there. And I believe there's a bathroom down there as well.
if you did,
When I was looking at this, my initial thought was, and this is my pet peeve of this, we've got so much wasted space for the hallway. And we're duplicating it.
Well, my thought is, at the moment, you need to move people in one direction, so they
You don't
come
have
in.
to.
Well, but with
Well,
currently they have to loop
Currently-
around, supposedly. That's the
But
Currently-
you
goal.
already have 2 exits, so you could go out through the meeting room.
yeah, but that, I know.
Because that way there, and it's like, as we've heard in the past, you don't need a lot of room for mechanical room.
No, I don't know that you need that much.
No, and with a much larger office space, do you really need that 9 by 16 extra?
That's my office.
But that's plenty of office though.
It is way plenty.
And that's,
Yeah.
but you could slide that
But what I was,
over.
if you could manipulate this a little bit.
Yes.
And get rid of this room, and make the mechanical room go to
Correct.
here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just gained a lot
So
of
you-
footprint.
So you're gonna come in this way.
You'd
go out-
come in and go out that way, kinda like what we're doing.
Doing right now, yeah.
But if, you know what I mean, if,
Yeah.
I don't know how, just where, but if you could make this come over,
Well,
maybe
you
put a
mean,
window
you're
on that
probably-
side and a
you're
window on
probably
this
gonna,
side.
Just make the dimensions smaller, because if you have room downstairs for,
But I
Well,
mean, this must be, I'm not sure how we
if
did
you
it.
did a daylight basement and you didn't have a library, you'd have room for your town meeting in
Yeah,
that
you
building.
would, 100%.
And I think that would resonate with some folks.
so I think all Dustin's looking for right now is some numbers and some
I think we're
ideas of what.
getting close.
Well, the other thing that we can do is, once we kind of like this, we tweak it or whatever we're gonna do, we can resubmit it to True Value, and they'll give us a fancier looking, for just a few dollars, a better looking thing that we actually could present at a
Well,
meeting.
he may actually have something to do.
Yeah, I said, all I need is
Sure.
some lines on the paper.
To get us
Right.
started.
To get us started. And
Well, this is the best we've had so far.
I said,
Right.
don't spend a lot of time on this, because we're gonna pick it apart, and we're going to figure out what we like and what we don't like, and he said.
Yeah, and I'm not
So-
really saying short,
Yeah, Yeah,
I just,
moving.
well, it's just, that's a lot of floor space up that middle.
The exit is 5 feet wide. According to the scale.
This one is?
Yeah, the hallway, yeah, that's 5 feet. And then, of course, where the windows are, so that's 1, 6, 7, that hallway is 7 feet.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 7 by 24, that's another room all in itself that you're not being able to utilize.
That's a lot.
Say anything about, you know, the space in between the bathrooms, that lobby area or whatever you wanna call it.
Mhm.
I think you'd move tax maps and that sort of thing into the meeting room.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If you could make it so that the office could see directly into the meeting room, why couldn't they look at all of that stuff? Just so long as you know they're not.
Yeah, I mean,
Take
Dexter,
our-
Dexter literally has theirs upstairs on another floor.
Yeah.
You just go up. Nobody even knows you're there. I mean, unless code enforcement happens to be in the office.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's no reason you couldn't have a window that, so you could just kind of see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
I kind of like it.
It's kind of the too bad part about having 2 bathrooms on the same wall like that, because with the handicap doors, you're gonna have a lot of space, but you can't, like you were saying, put the tax maps out in the hallway. You wouldn't be able to do anything there
No.
to help utilize some of that area.
You know, another thing, see where they have the entrance to the office? You could enter between the 2 windows and make that a window. I don't know that we'll ever be faced with this again, but the idea of being able to wait on a customer on one side of the wall and a customer on the other side might have an advantage.
Well, yeah, you could be helping 2 people.
You literally could help 2
because they're
people and they'd
separated.
be
Right.
20,
Totally
10
separate.
feet
Yeah.
apart.
I know.
But this is 16 feet, you may want to just put 2 windows on that one wall.
And be done with it.
Yeah. And then have your entrance on this other side.
Yeah, I don't think we need 3 windows. Service windows.
Or if you reconfigure this a little, well, no, I still think putting the safe down cellar.
Well, you don't need that much room for a safe. I mean, you need a closet. We don't really have a mandate that you have to have a safe.
No, there's no
I
requirement.
couldn't find one that said I had one,
You just need a lock-in storage area.
but,
Which we have plenty of room for that. Would you give us a price on this?
he said if we gave him dimensions for the other one as well, he and Zach will start working on a price list for us as to
The other one meaning our other.
a daylight.
Oh, okay.
I'd say with and without.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what, if we do a library, it's gonna be finished space either way. So I like the idea of having town meetings there.
Me too.
I mean, we're gonna do it once. Be totally independent and,
And there's plenty of parking over there.
oh, yeah, it should be great.
It'd be really nice to pull this off, a nice daylight basement and town meeting on the same spot.
Yeah.
It's exactly the setup that we had in Litchfield. It was a daylight basement, you went around back, double doors.
Yeah.
And you,
Totally
even
accessible.
this time of year, you could open it up, the wind would blow through, it was nice.
I like it. And it's simple, I mean, there's nothing extra here, it's what we need.
That might be the reason to have your extra bathroom. If you're gonna have town meeting there, you
You
might
don't
wanna
have bathrooms
double up.
Downstairs, yeah.
Well, depend on your elevation, because now you're got a septic, you don't wanna pump.
Yeah. This is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, but that's why I don't have one in my basement.
Well, town sewer is not out that far.
No,
Not
Wrong
Never
side
will
of the
be.
bridge.
not with
That's
that,
right.
not with that dam there.
No.
Okay, so we will have a septic.
And John swears there is no septic. Somebody said they thought there was a septic on that.
And a well,
There is, it was a brand new one.
Really? No,
Maybe we'll
I'll
find
start
it.
looking. And he knows there's a well. And we have a well over on the.
Across the street.
Across the
No,
street.
they just, the last couple of years that, and I just forgot what their name, Wells property, Wells lived there, they had a new septic.
So what do you, maybe we all kind of noodle this for a few days, but I don't wanna go much more than a few days,
Well, no,
right?
I think it's damn close. I mean,
Yeah, and, maybe get it back to Bridie before the end of the week and we'll get some numbers.
Pass it to-
Yeah. That sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm, yep,
Okay.
very, very good.
Anything else on this right now?
Nope, I like it. That's positive.
Item 6, new business, somebody needs a liquor license.
Okay, the Timber Hitch Farmhouse holds receptions and weddings. And both these requests are from caterers who are going to want to provide alcohol at the weddings. And I couldn't remember what we passed for ordinances or referendums, and if we had allowed it and any of that. So I called the state. The state says we are good to go. All we have to do in this case is you have to sign it, and then it goes back to the caterers. The caterers take it to the state. They have to approve it, because I was worried that, well, maybe the caterers get approved, but the Timber Hitch is not approved. You know, I was worried about those kind of, I didn't want you to sign anything that might legally get you into trouble.
We're
But-
basically giving the state permission to
Correct.
approve.
Correct.
And we're approving the timber hitch itself?
No,
Or the
we're
individual
approving
caterers?
the caterers. I found the ordinances and referendums that we actually passed, so that, and apparently you had to have them certified. If you passed them but didn't send them to the state and certify them, you had a whole other
Yeah.
problem and issue, and so,
Sunday sales.
so Bob Sinclair, who was the head of his department down there, who checked it for me. It's all done officially and legally, so,
So you
So
needed
it's-
a motion to approve these 2 requests
yeah, and
for
then for you to.
a catering liquor license.
So I'll make a motion to approve these 2 requests for a caterer to acquire a liquor license.
I'll second it. And
So
there's a
does-
place on here for us to sign both of
Did
these,
you
each
sign?
one of us.
My questions though is,
Go ahead.
so are we gonna get hit
Discussion.
for anybody that wants to cater in our town? And why can't we just do something as a town so we don't have to do this for every individual?
That you might be able to do, but we couldn't do it today.
100%, and that's where I,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's kinda last week when I stopped at Robinson's, Kevin already kinda mentioned that about doing liquor license as well. through the
Well,
store.
if you do a BYOB, you also technically are supposed to have something similar to this and have you guys sign off on it.
Is that right?
But we haven't, Sangerville doesn't have liquor licenses for retail. That has never been approved.
No,
Not that
no.
Because we're not talking
What?
wine in here, we're talking
This is
liquor.
an event.
What you approved, shall this municipality authorize the state to issue licenses for the sale of liquor to be consumed on the premises of licensed establishments on Sundays? And
Oh.
then the second one says for the sale of malt liquor and wine to be consumed. That says off the premises.
Correct, that's why Robinsons can sell Fireball, because
Correct.
it's off premises and it's a malt liquor,
Mm,
it's not.
mhm.
And then previously, shall the municipality authorize the state to issue licenses for the sale of liquor to be consumed on premises of licensed establishments on days other than Sundays? So between the 3, at least as far as the state's concerned, you've covered it all, but you have to do it on
We
a
still have to do this on an
one-to-one
individual, okay,
basis.
that's what I was
But
curious.
really, it's incumbent upon the caterer, I mean, basically, for us to sign it, just vet it and sign it.
Well, we've already approved it as a town, we're just following through.
Right, and you're just,
Right.
That's why I wanted to understand how this works.
Yeah,
That's all.
well, that's why I called, because I'm like, I don't,
right.
we didn't do any last year. And I didn't know exactly what we passed, and
So does this work as a one-off for an event, or does this make it so this caterer is all set for the?
That's a good question.
it's a one-off. I believe if you look, it's
It's
dated.
dated.
Dated for a specific
It's
event.
dated, it's, for the event, they have to do a very minimal diagram. think it's date and time.
But it's not yet.
Oh, sorry.
And who,
I'm sorry.
But that's where this could kind of get interesting. I mean, because with this event center in town, we could be doing these quite regularly.
You mean this timber hitch
Mhm.
place? Yeah. I
and
mean, but we've
interesting,
never done it.
and interestingly enough, she doesn't have to have any licenses.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It must be because where she's just basically renting the event, the
venue.
structure, and it's up for whoever is gonna be there to,
Yep.
Carry it.
I ran that by, the state.
I mean, you could do the same thing at a residence. If a
100%.
licensed caterer came in and got the license, they could serve,
probably
they'd be
should.
responsible, they'd have the liability insurance, all
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah.
He was saying
Just
if
kinda
we had a
interesting, that's all.
BYOB party, you should.
Is that right? In a private residence?
Well, not a private residence so much as a public.
Oh,
So if you rented the timber hedge and you was gonna have it be BYOB,
oh,
Yeah, you should have the,
Get,
then you should do the same thing, yeah.
yeah.
wow.
Interesting.
Huh.
Any further discussion?
No, I'm good.
Vote? Yeah, all in favor?
Just kinda interesting, that's all.
Well, you might be able to have an ordinance that gave that authority to your town manager.
Well, I think if you read those, then perhaps I could sign them as your agent.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
we might work on that for next town
That
meeting.
might be a good idea.
Do we just do that as a policy thing, or do that be an order?
I'd check, ever check.
Well,
Since we're dealing
but-
with the state, and like,
Yeah,
Oh, that's
this is-
interesting that they've got a diagram of where the permit is.
Supposedly where they're gonna set up. and-
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
It is
signed,
interesting.
I signed in your spot, Dale.
That's all right. There is no spot.
Is there
There is
just,
no spot.
I know, but, yeah, I'm just kidding.
Our tradition.
Yeah,
Sure.
our OCD.
Item 7, Town Manager's Report, E911 issues.
And the other thing that I didn't put on there is 45-day notices, so I've got two things
Okay.
that I want to talk about. E911 issues, we are supposed to be up to date. Every address is supposed to be in E911 database. We're nowhere near that, so I've started working on it. It's time consuming. I've called this E911 office.
Good
They're not answering their phone.
Oh, that's,
I don't know if they're working or not working, although when I've done updates, they eventually do seem to be updated. But we have, almost all of our roads are not done.
they're not done.
Not done.
It'd be nice if they had that software that Dover's got, would have it all in one database and you'd be
Well,
awesome.
before, I was hoping that they would give me some guidance before I started doing it individually, resident by residence,
yeah.
you know, if we could have the tax maps on there
Oh, yeah.
and the, all of that on there would be so much easier and you,
That's why that's software that they're using, that is, it's all right in that one program.
Did you ever talk to
I
Jack?
haven't talked to Jack about
Yeah,
that, I talked to Jack about several things, but I've never
got around to that.
gotten around to that, so I've got to do that and I will
Probably
before I start, but this started with, somebody down on Mechanic Pond Road on the Pullier Road. That wasn't even listed as a road, we got several,
Yikes.
more than several private roads not even listed. I found errors. Better Road is listed as the Carl Road in their database. So we really should get it cleaned up. Hopefully if I can probably get Lorna and Sarah also trained, so if we could all three work on it, we could get it up to date faster. And the other issue I wanted to tell you about is we have to have our 45-day notices out by the end of the month. So I started working on the research it takes to identify all the interested parties. And as I was telling Dale when we came in, we have a property that is owned by the Ruby Foundation. It has been for the past 2 years. They haven't paid their taxes. And we can't locate them. We're talking
Ruby?
Ruby.
Ruby.
From Tennessee, right?
They were founded in Tennessee. This Curtis Braley, who was one of the co-chairs of the board, he lives in Texas. We've sent a couple of addresses in Tennessee and a couple of addresses in Texas. The one he lists with the IRS is the headquarters. We get our paperwork back.
Make well said.
He believes, I'm sure, that he's tax exempt, but if you don't file, it's the same, if you don't file with the assessor before April 1st, saying that you expect the exemption, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
Yep.
So actually, you it may be a good, the property's actually listed for sale.
Oh.
And
It is.
sale pending.
It's sale pending right now.
Oh.
So I found it on my phone. She has a realtor.
I'll be calling them because we would want.
They
to
need a
go-
clarification that you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
tax exempt because you didn't meet that.
Yeah.
So that would be, might be one of those scenarios like we had on that other property, was after the fact.
Yep, yeah.
Well, we're talking $225,000.
Assessed value of 260, yeah, for 2 years or 3 years
250.
now, yeah.
Good.
Three. Two that are going to go to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But the third's now due, so we say
There's now new,
with interest. Yeah. Just a little bit.
so,
Well, we'll get our money.
yeah, well, I was a little
Of course, if we
nerved
got
up
the
because
property,
it's
we
like
would
if
get
we,
all of it.
if we actually foreclosed on a property of that value. The other thing it raises is, we have no zoning or ordinances. What if a foundation or charity were to buy up
Half the town?
one side of Center Pond?
Yep.
And then we would know, we
Yep.
would not get any taxation out of it.
That's exactly what would happen.
That's exactly.
I don't know.
And I don't think there's anything we can do
Is
about
there
that.
nothing? I don't know.
Think you can.
No, in fact, there are plenty of municipalities who are suffering from that right
Yep.
now.
Yeah, well,
It all seems like a good idea until you see your revenue.
so, just concerned, the whole thing is,
Yeah, once you start diving into it.
it's like, oh,
Now,
this
the
is
Libra
not.
Foundation, that's not tax-free, is it?
Yep,
It is up in Monson.
it is, but when we had lots of conversations before about it, and I can't remember if I read it somewhere, or they were planning on
Paying taxes.
for so long. I'm not sure if that's their end goal, but from what I understood, they were gonna be, they want to be a
Yeah.
part of the community.
Right.
Then turning everything over to the community, I thought.
Eventually, yeah, it's kinda, not really sure how that's all gonna.
Wow.
So it's just a little scary, because I was under the impression that nonprofits, if they weren't like churches, had to pay some property tax.
Mhm.
They don't have to if they follow.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the rules.
Yeah.
That's what's kinda making me nervous about this. I'm wondering if, where that's an out-of-state foundation and didn't know about that one particular rule, that maybe.
Not knowing the law is not an excuse under the law.
100%, but as far as with a
Most of the
realtor-
time.
Knowing they're a tax.
Right, which is why I should call them.
Oh,
Correct.
yes.
I can see where they would just follow this process to what they think is proper,
And where they haven't accepted anything.
and you
in
don't
any of
actually
their-
have a lien on the property yet, so it's not gonna get.
I believe.
You do.
I have two liens, I have
Oh,
no
well.
foreclosure.
Well.
So it should show.
It will show.
It will show.
When they go to do
They
title
should
work,
know.
they're gonna find it,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was interesting. And so I have about 30 45-day notices. That's just a few less than last year.
yeah, that seems like,
Yeah.
and probably 29 of those will be taken care of in short order. I mean, we've been doing this for a while, it's usually,
Yeah, they
we've
clean
had
up
2
fast.
properties,
Well-
4 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen.
2.
We
Yeah,
always start calling.
one was intentional.
Yep, 100%, one of them was fully intentional.
They wanted to get rid of it.
Yep.
Thought that was the best
Yep,
way.
yep.
Yeah, it was,
It had to
instead
do
of dealing
with
the
nursing
family
home care.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
that, just let it go.
Let it go.
So, that's what they did.
No, I came on just as I went through.
So we only actually had one that was,
Okay, correspondence? Request for additional agenda items?
excellent.
Oh, okay, Is that where you wanna be? All right. Any other, nothing there? Okay.
No.
Moving on to 10, Selectmen's concerns.
I'm assuming you got phone calls today?
No.
You
Well, the office is closed today,
Oh, that's why you
and I didn't answer the phone all afternoon long,
Oh,
because I
that's a good
was
thing.
working.
So Facebook is all lit up.
Okay.
Some nice lovely pictures of down around the beach area
Have you seen those?
with all kinds of trash and needles.
Oh,
Syringes
It
everywhere.
happens every summer.
Even in the water.
Yes, they're all over the place. And the sheriff's department, which is kind of interesting. Multiple people have shared this, and multiple people have tagged the sheriff's department with no response yet from the sheriff's department. So I thought that was a little interesting. But
now typically would, and again, I don't do Facebook, so I don't know, would the sheriff's department respond? If they're.
as much as this has gone around, I would have liked to have seen the sheriff's department with a positive response of, you know, either gonna call the town manager or we'll, you know, get down and look at something.
But would they write something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah,
would,
because
okay,
they have
okay.
their own Facebook page.
Okay, okay. And once they're tagged, that means that they're
They
getting.
get a notification.
They're getting all these pictures and everything else.
Yep, yep.
And in the, you've found that they typically respond if
I
they
didn't,
tag.
I didn't check that out. I just know on this particular item one, they have not responded.
When did this happen today?
Last night,
Oh, last night.
yesterday.
Well, last month, as you all know, we had people camping
Yep,
down there, and having fires.
Yeah.
So I sent the forest rangers down. I hadn't had any complaints recently,
Hmm.
so I
this whole thing is one of my pet peeves about those rocks.
Ah.
We block that area off so
Uh-huh.
no vehicles can get out through there.
Mhm.
If, I really think that if the rocks wasn't there, you could reach out to the sheriff's department, because the sheriff's department sit by the ball diamond,
Right.
or they actually pull in by the porta potty. So I mean, they do pull in that area quite regular, that if they could, you
They
can
could swing
drive all the
around.
way down by the
Yeah.
beach, and it's a loop, you don't have to
Yeah.
circle right around, you can come right back up.
And the other thing
Yeah.
you could do, if code enforcement says we can, is move a few trees and make that visible.
We've
we
said it
tried.
many times, we really
Let's
need to
open
get
it
rid
up.
of,
If you
What
open
we
it
need
up,
is
it's-
daylight.
let that visibility go all the way down in there, so there's no hiding spots.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a nice piece of property that I still think that we're not utilizing. I mean,
It is.
If
Well,
we
if
could
it looks
open
like
that
this,
up.
we'll never utilize it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's
Oh,
walking
it's gross.
paths, it's terrible.
It really is.
The original argument for moving the rocks was,
People going down there doing drugs.
but they were driving down.
Correct.
Oh, and then they put the rocks so that they couldn't drive down.
So now, policing can't go
Right.
down, and all you do is
Right.
walk in and you're private.
And there's, I mean, it's not much of a beach, it is what it is, but that does get a lot of use. I mean, all summer long, when I'm driving home, I always meet somebody that's got a towel that they're coming.
Is that right?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's discouraging.
It is discouraging.
I don't know, well, they get to clean it up, I mean,
Well, everybody on Facebook thinks sheriff's department should, that nobody should have to do that they should go do it, so. Which is kind of interesting in the whole thing.
I'm not sure they're going to volunteer for that.
I don't believe they will either, I mean, but there is a couple of people that did say that they plan on, whether or not they are, but they were gonna get down today and pick up some of it, take care of some of the trash, but. I just, like I said, I think if we remove the rocks and
Open it up.
open it up again and see if the sheriff's department wouldn't mind doing a loop once in a while, showing a presence down there, maybe that would help. Maybe it won't, I mean,
I certainly would be open to you reaching out to them if they said, yeah, we would patrol it if we could drive in there. Then that would probably sell me,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not gonna walk down in there.
No, no.
Well, I don't think the forest ranger really liked walking down in there, but they did.
maybe that's something for could we get the planning board to help with that maybe, actually walk that and give us a map, show us what can we trim, what can't we trim?
That's a good idea.
Could
That's a
we-
great
I
idea.
don't know if we could light it.
There's
Oh,
not a lot of wood in there, I think if you,
No, I mean, if you flooded it from one of that backside of that soccer field, I mean, that's
Is
not the
there
ambiance
electricity
maybe you're
on the
looking for,
backside?
but
Is there electricity on the backside of the soccer field?
I don't know.
it wouldn't be that hard to get there.
Right.
No, but you could
But I mean, there's a lot of brush, a lot of shrubbery, it's all simple stuff though, I think you could clean it up, so if you didn't wanna light it up, or,
It's just too bad right now, it's
it is, I mean,
awful. You know, particularly if we're gonna put the town office over there, and we're gonna develop that trail system, and we've gotta figure out a way to get it cleaned up.
yeah, people need to start having a presence in place now, not later.
And we couldn't put a gate up and close it after 9 PM
Oh,
or
we've
something
been
like
down
that,
there.
right?
Tried that, haven't we? I
And
mean,
they still walk, I mean, a
Yeah.
gate is a rock. and
plus people have a right to use the boat launch, I mean,
That's
we'd
right,
like them
that's
to.
right.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
That's right, they came in late and wanted to get out. Hurry.
And found yourself.
Yeah, locked in.
You can't.
Right, that doesn't work.
Be happy.
So is it, do we wanna have Bridie speak to the sheriff's department and see
Love that.
Yes.
what their reaction
Yes.
is to that idea, and
Yes.
then we'll take it up. It's not a big deal to move the rocks. I don't think didn't the rec department have a desire for the rocks where they are right now?
Yep.
They did, but I'm not sure they still do, and I know I've had.
Oh,
at
last
least-
time we brought it up, wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't very.
But what was their pushback on
Because of the drugs that were happening down
it?
there.
Oh.
Their
So
thought
you
was
could-
to,
It goes both ways, you know,
Right, I
the
mean,
minute
their
you pick
thought
the
is
rocks,
to-
then you got people driving down
Well,
there.
it should mean that there's a car parked there. But I guess it doesn't. I mean, I guess people are just wandering down in there, but.
I mean, the kids are they're in there on bicycles, they walk,
Yeah.
people are taking cars, I mean,
We had the same thing down the street here.
Yep.
They'd probably do right now if you went down there.
I really, yeah, I was just gonna say, I bet if you walk that trail from the center of town down through, you'll probably have the same thing right now. I mean, because they were picking them up right out of the parking lot last year,
Yeah.
so.
Anything else on our first selectmen's concerns?
On a positive note, the Tire King on my road's got a sign up that says no more tires.
I'm full.
I guess he's full.
At capacity.
He must
I was
be.
wondering if there was a limit.
I don't know, but the sign went up this weekend, so I didn't know, maybe code enforcement
Well,
might have got.
enforcement has been up there.
Well, maybe
Um,
that was
That's
the
maybe why he's full.
That could be.
But we're still trying to track the actual owner of the property.
Well, if the owner knows they're there.
Right.
That's could be a totally other.
This owner has moved as well, and we are trying to track them down.
Okay,
So, yeah.
All right.
interesting.
I think while we're here, we ought to go into executive session, which,
We will say goodbye.
that's right.
You know how that works.
Yep.
Thank you, appreciate it very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you,
you.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. And Judy, I'll follow with
Great, thank you so much.
I make a motion that we go into executive session under 1 MRSA 4056A, personnel.
Second.
In favor, raise our hands, it's unanimous, it's 20 minutes of 6.